All right, in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the regulations process here at Agri Spray Drones, and we'll dip into a little bit of the 44807 exemption. So, of course, the process always starts with that drone purchase. Once the drone is purchased, the customer inquiry form can be filled out. Now, some of you have already filled out the customer inquiry form, which is fine, but typically that piece will go there. Anybody that fills out the customer inquiry form sends all the data over to the regulations department to where we can do our first customer consultation. Typically, this happens over the phone, where we'll kind of walk you through the process. Can also happen digitally as well. Drone registration is that first piece. In the previous video, we talked about transferring a registration and registering a brand new aircraft. Either way, we'll need to get an N number. Once we have that N number, we can file that 44807 exemption, which is that blanket Class G COA exemption and conditions and limitations that we file on the federal docket, and that is your exemption itself. Once that exemption is approved after a certain amount of time, we then go to the 137 application. Once that's approved, we deliver the manuals, and then we're at the end. This portion, we're going to talk just about that 44807 exemption filing and a little bit of what to expect with that. So moving on here, this is what the regulations request looks like. Once you'll fill that out, it populates to the regulations department, and then we upload everything into a software called Clio, and you will get a customer portal set up, client portal rather. And so be looking for emails from Clio where we will directly message you, and all the documents will go through there. The 44807 exemption, so it was a part of the FAA Reauthorization Act, but it's a stack of paperwork that contains conditions and limitations, which operators are required to understand and strictly follow. Any breach of these conditions not only voids the exemption, but also constitutes a violation of federal law. And so this is a really important piece, is the longest portion of the regulatory process. And once we have that exemption approved, it gets better there, and we can go on to filing for the 137 certificate. So some confusing pieces there. Again, those prerequisites to even begin this are that remote pilot certificate or Part 107, as well as that N number, and then a couple of other things. Now, the big question comes up of the requirement for third-class medical. All of the new exemptions have 47 conditions and limitations. And in those conditions and limitations, it does say how you do not need to have a medical certificate to fly during the day in an autonomous mode. However, there are some caveats there that you need to not be of knowledge that you cannot acquire a third-class medical. So if you know that you have some prohibiting conditions, whatever those may be, you are excluded from that. But if you do have your third-class medical, you can fly at night without a visual observer, and take advantage of all 47 of those conditions and limitations. So that's what the exemption process looks like at the beginning. And then once we get to the approval, we send over the next piece, which will be in the next video. Thank you.